And we are live here at Whitman, Baltimore Winter Expo 2025. And we have our next guest. He is the president of Northern Nevada Coin. Please welcome Mr. Alan Rowe.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Alan, I think you probably have the best coin shop location anywhere in the whole planet.
Well, I think so.
If I was a guessing man, your shop is literally out the front door of the Carson City Mint, about 30 degrees that way. You walk across the street and...
Well, technically, directly across the street.
Yeah, well, that's true, I guess. Yeah.
So let me guess, you specialize in colonial coinage.
They didn't make it out west.
Yeah.
No,
they did stamp some coins out our way for a few years, so.
Yeah, a couple years.
Yeah.
But you are the guy. You are Mr. Carson City himself, I would say. You own the famous Broken CC dollar, which is your website's even brokencc.com, I think.
Well, we've technically switched it over to northernnevadacoin.com. We came up with the idea of brokencc.com because we wanted the short website. It was back in the day where nobody liked to type things in. Nowadays, I mean, you type in 42 digits and it doesn't matter. But
yeah.
Back in the day, everybody wanted to be as short as they possibly could for a website.
Well, and so you said when we were getting started, there's a picture of you I have of you standing with some gold coins, and it looks like you were at the exhibit at the Carson City Mint.
We were inside the Carson City Mint. A customer of mine had just traded in his Carson City 1870 CC20 for one of the 1870 CC Carson City 20s I had at that time. And I actually owned 3 of them at that time. So when I was in that picture, we
decided to walk over to the Mint and get a picture with 5 1870 Carson City CC20s in one picture.
Yeah, how many of those coins are there?
Well, probably about 50 or so. But as we went in there, the security guard actually let us into the vault to where we weren't behind the bars or anything. So we're right up against it. And my customer took his picture with the 4 coins and the other one behind him. And he goes to hand me the coins, and what do? I drop them.
Oh boy! God, I've done that before.
That had to be a confidence builder.
So that's why I had the eating grin on my face because I'm looking at him going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just dropped them."
That's so fun. And if you've never been to the Carson City Mint, I highly recommend that you go. It's the State Museum now. They don't have just a coin exhibit. There's all sorts of other cool stuff about Nevada there. They do, however, have a pretty darn cool coin exhibit if you're a coin person.
Yep.
And what he's referring to, there's a door at the vault, and inside the vault in these giant plexiglass, almost floor-to-ceiling holders, they have one of every coin, right?
They have everything that Carson City minted except for the No Arrows dime and the No Arrows quarter.
Okay.
But they have this 20-cent piece.
Is that why?
Well, the dime is unique, and the No Arrows quarters, there's about 4 or 5 of them known. So extremely rare and really not collectible for most people.
Sure. But yeah, that's if you've never been, I highly recommend going, and then stop by Alan's store after you're done, and you can see even more awesome Carson City stuff.
So here's the thing that I've always kind of, I guess, wondered. Carson City Mint opened in 1870, closed in 1893.
Closed in 1893, and actually It actually closed in 1886.
Right.
Reopened in 1889.
Well, the first Cleveland administration closed it. The Harrison administration opened it, and the second Cleveland administration closed it again.
Yep.
So for such a short-lived mint, why is it that you think that everybody is so romantic about those coins?
Well, I've always said this. Carson City coins embody the West.
Yep.
I mean, 1849, the gold rush happens. Well, 48 technically, but everybody starts coming out west. Prior to that, there was just a few trappers and missions out there. There wasn't a lot of people out west. And so all of a sudden you've got droves and droves of people coming from back east to California, and a lot of them blew right through Nevada on their way there. Well, once California gets quote unquote played out and everybody's looking for more minerals, they come back over the hill, and lo and behold, as they find gold in Dayton, they're working up the hill and they run into all this black rock, and one of the miners finally recognizes it as silver, and so then hence the Comstock lode, which was one of the richest silver mines in the world. And so all this silver is happening. And if you think about it, between 1860 and 1870, 10 years, that place just exploded. And we had a mint built by 1870.
Yes.
And unless you've actually been out there, I don't think most people understand that Virginia City and the Comstock lode is like maybe 15 miles as the crow flies from the mint.
Yeah, it's about a 20-minute drive. And driving up there, you go through Silver City, Gold Hill,
And then you get to Virginia City, and Virginia City still looks as it did in about 1875.
Yeah, it's a very interesting place. There's
Yeah.
I went up there and we stopped by the cemetery, and you could walk around the cemetery and see all the miners that had tragically met their end in the mines there, but also just you get an idea of what life was like back then by looking at the birth date and the death date, and it was very interesting.
Fairly short.
Yeah, it was not nearly like it is today.
Well, and when I say 1875, I mean, obviously the city was being built before that.
Sure.
But in 1875, they had a major fire that went through there, and about 2/3 of the city burned.
Wow.
So, Carson City coinage in the early years especially, they didn't make large quantities of anything. So
Right.
the dimes, the quarters, the 50-cent pieces, most of those coins were circulating in Virginia City. And so when 2/3 of that city built, a lot of those coins were consumed in those fires.
Yeah.
To this day, we'll still have guys that are out metal detecting or sifting in areas, and they'll bring in some of those coins that have been found out there.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That's just
I love telling the story to customers of why they built them at Carson City, that they had found it. And, they're putting the silver on these Wells Fargo stagecoaches and sending it over to Sierra Nevadas. And that's where they're getting hit by the James gang and all these, stagecoach robbers. That's stuff that we knew about as kids. So it's like it kind of brings it to life for those of us that live in the East, right? That really don't know a lot about the West.
Yeah, and you think about, back in those days, a quarter or 2 bits got you a cigar and a beer.
Mhm.
And so,
Or shaving a haircut.
yeah, all these guys that circulating around Virginia City, they were spending their coins, and those coins circulated. They were used pretty hard, and a lot of them didn't survive.
Yeah, there's a lot of history crammed into a very little area of Nevada right there, especially as far as coin and coinage and mining and the history of things that changed our country. Really,
Yeah, it's very
It's a
much
very
like the barber
tight
coinage
area.
and the fact that it circulated. It did its job,
Right.
and you will find them uncirculated. You'll find them very badly worn, and
Right.
probably not a lot of in between.
Barber coinage suffered the most just because right before the Depression. So people that were going to save those coins just couldn't hang on to them. They didn't have the wherewithal at that point.
Sure.
well, Alan, I could sit here and talk history with you all day, and that's we may have to do that later. But we are also here to kind of highlight your business. What obviously we talked about the shop in Carson City, but you have a couple other stores.
We do. So Carson City is the main store, and I started out in the business as all wholesale.
Right.
So in 1993, I incorporated. I moved to Carson City in 98. I have an office, or had an office, that was on the north end of town, and it was just an office building. It wasn't a showroom or anything like that. In 2008, I was able to take over the store where we're at now. And the store has been resided there since the 1960s. Frank Rowe, Sr. was the guy that started it there. Then I went to Junior, then I went to the Mitchell Brothers, and then I ended up taking over the entire store in 2008. But prior to that, in the building, the coin shop was only in 1,000 square feet of the 4,000 square foot building. So when I took it over in 2008, I was able to get the entire building, remodel it, and turned it into a
Sound familiar, man?
Yeah, it sure does.
coin shop. Yeah.
It sure does. I just got done doing that's fine.
So, yep.
And then the other stores are located one's in Reno.
So we have one in Reno. In 2011, when gas was $5 and gold was going up, we're getting phone calls every week, every day. You guys have a location in Reno? Do you have a location in Reno? Do you have a location in Reno? So
Enough people called that you
in,
built
in
a
April of
location.
2000 in Reno, we opened up a location there. And then in 2012, we opened up another one down in, at that time it was Minden. Minden, Gardnerville are kind of sister cities just south of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of call that our Mayberry store because it's a lot slower. It's just slower paced. We don't have a large showroom there, but we do a lot of our backroom stuff, operations there, like photography and stuff like that, adding coins to the website. So it gives us a good footprint in that community, but it also gives us a place to kind of do our work quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not to mention being the guy in Northern Nevada, of course, you're also on the show circuit. You guys have a pretty great spread you bring to a lot of the big shows. And if people don't know you, I can't imagine that nobody knows who you are, of course. But
Yeah.
but coming to these shows, I think it's just a great way that people can actually interact with somebody that is on the forefront of that particular section of the hobby, the Carson City. I mean, if you start collecting Carson City coins and you're not at least looking at your website or your inventory, then you're missing out. Because you stock them deep, right?
We do. We carry lots of them, and we supply a lot of different programs with them, etc. So yeah, we definitely have a lot of Carson City coins, and we've built some world-class sets as well.
Yeah.
What is the coolest coin you've come across?
Oh boy.
That's such a loaded question.
I know. That's why I like to ask it.
So probably the coin that I still have is I have an 1848 quarter with a double date. And why I think that's one of the coolest coins is it just inspired me to look at coins even more. And I owned that coin when I was younger. I actually sold the coin off at one point. And then a few years back, I bought the coin again. And I think I set it aside to save it. And for some reason, I think somebody else priced it and stuck it out and it's gone.
Oh,
But,
no.
you know, it's one of those things that, you know, it makes the collecting world go around. When I started dealing in coins, one of my first mentors kind of told me, if you're going to deal in coins, you cannot be the collector.
Right.
That's right.
Because you need to be putting your stuff out there for sale and offering it. If you're outdoing all of your other collectors, you know, you're competing with them. You know, be the guy that supplies the collectors.
Yeah, don't buy the coins they want for
Right.
you.
And so I really took that to heart and did that. But probably the late 90s, I came across an off-center Carson City Morgan dollar.
Okay.
And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to keep this. And so I kept it, put it in my collection. And one of the air dealers was like, you want to sell it? You want to sell it? And he probably chased me for about 2 years trying to get me to sell it to him. And he finally realized I wasn't going to sell it to him. And he ended up offering me the broken Carson City dollar. And so in 1999, I bought that coin, and it's been in part of our collection ever since. Since then, I've purchased several other broken dollars, so I've actually got a little collection of them.
If you've never seen it, you don't know what he's talking about. The coin was, I don't know, was it struck normally and just a planchet flaw caused it to split, or
So
did it happen shortly after? It looks like maybe. What's your best guess?
for my best guess, from what I understand, this coin resided in the GSA.
Oh, okay.
And then it came out of the GSA and broke in half, or was broken. And I actually have an 1880 Carson City dollar that came out of the GSA hoard as well that is broken too. Now, you have to admit on this one, I'm the guy that actually separated that coin.
Oh, you broke it.
Because I have a pamphlet from the Error Club that went into the GSA administration to catalog errors when that GSA hoard was first found before they released them. And in there is a picture of the 80 with the crack running through the coin. Well, a dealer that was in the Midwest called me up about it after my broken CC had been out there for a long time. He says, hey, I've got this coin. It's got a crack all the way through the planchet. Are you interested? So we ended up striking a deal, and he mailed it to me, and he'd bought it out of an original GSA hoard. So back when the GSAs first came out, most guys were just cracking them out and putting the dollars in tubes. And when they cracked this one out, they noticed that the coin had a big crack in it. And so when he sold it to me, I got it, and I looked at it, and the crack ran all the way through the back and pretty much all the way through the front. And I was like, you know what? I went to bend the coin a little bit, and it broke instantly.
That's cool.
So that coin, I know, resided in the GSA hoard and stayed there until it was cracked out. And it stayed intact for probably another 30 years after that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, Ken Hopple, who actually ran the #1 press over at the Carson City Mint, striking the modern coinage and medallions, et cetera, because they don't strike actual coins there now. One day when he was doing rounds, he had one shoot off of the press. So he struck it, and it went twing and shot in 2 different directions, landed on the floor. So I actually have that round as well.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
But he
round.
actually had it happen to him at the Mint on the press. So we know that it happens legitimately. Sure. There was a theory that people were taking, dry ice or whatever, freezing these coins, or the liquid nitrogen, but I've never seen that happen. I've never seen.
Why would somebody want to? It's the real question, right? I mean, to try and create an error, maybe, but
right. There's a lot of nefarious people out there trying to make money on an easy buck or a cheap way, and so that's part of the industry. Is you have to make sure that you're not getting caught up in that or being taken by
bamboozled.
that.
Yeah, that happens.
It sure happens.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was just thinking about that. There are quite a few mint airs actually that were in the GSA hoard. I've seen a double struck rotated that was struck in collar.
Yep, I actually own that coin now as well.
Do you? That's why I mentioned it, because I kind of figured.
Was it in a hard pack or was it in a soft pack?
I believe it came out of a hard pack, but it was just a raw coin when I had it, because the gentleman that bought it, he cracked it out of the hard pack back in the 1870s or 1970s. Sorry, not 1870s.
Seems like the 1870s.
Yeah.
And how is that market these days? I mean, obviously, being the guy for Carson Cities, I think maybe you would, out of everybody, on the floor here, would probably be the guy to give us kind of a market update on Carson City coinage.
Carson City coinage is very strong right now. We had a little bit of a dip in the Carson City gold coins for a while, mainly because the Fairmont hoard came out.
Yep. That was a lot of coins.
Excuse me. Yep. And what happened with the Fairmont hoard is you saw all these wonderful coins come to the market. And from there, collectors that have been collecting coins took in these coins, and now they got rid of their older coins.
Duplicates, yeah.
So their duplicates came back to the market.
Trickle down.
And then the second tier trickled down. And as we had that trickle down, what we ended up with was the coins that are kind of the lower end of the market back on the market.
Yeah.
And so those coins don't sell as fast, don't go as way as quick. But then also there's so many coins came out that the prices came down a little bit as well. I think we've seen the kind of the bottom of that swing.
Okay.
And we're probably going to flatten out from here and start moving back up. But it'll take a while, maybe even a couple of years for them to start building back up in price, unless something else precipitates them to go back up.
So according to our expert here, this is a buying opportunity.
I think it is right now. They're actually priced very fairly. And if you look at a lot of the coins with gold being $4,000,
I was just going to mention that.
You've got coins that are right here again back against the gold value.
Because a lot of the Carson City dollars for a long time have been for like the common 20s.
Yep.
Some of those are 4,500, 4,700 when they're kind of circulated and maybe kind of coins.
Yep.
And nowadays the price hasn't changed. It's gold has started to catch those coins.
Yeah.
Right.
But
we're starting to see some upwards pressure on those lower coins, especially the details coins, the clean coins, damaged coins.
Sure.
They're starting to come back and become part of the market where it's vibrant again.
Right.
And as those re-enter the market, do you think that they'll put pressure on the other coins to take them up?
I believe so. Yep. But also, as collectors go into this market, the choices are going away. For a while there, if you wanted an 1885cc or 91cc 20, which are kind of both scarce dates, there were plenty of them on the market. So now that those are kind of trickling out and going away, the choices are going to get smaller again, just like they were prior to the Fairmont hoard coming out.
Very, very cool. And I hope you guys enjoy that. Like I said, this is the guy for Carson City. He knows the market probably better than anybody else. Not because his office is across the street, but because he has been participating in that market for quite a long time. And so I'll switch gears again. I'm
Sure.
sorry. How's business at the office? I mean, you guys been just absolutely insane like we have been lately.
I'm sure that just like everywhere around the country, we had the prices rise and people were getting rid of material. I think it was a fever pitch all the way to
silver hit
4,300
52 and it came out of the woodwork.
and silver hit 50. Yep.
And there was a couple days there where we were setting all-time highs in silver and all-time highs in gold at the same day.
Yep.
And I'm not sure we're done yet. I don't quite know yet.
I don't think anybody thinks we're done.
No, this run feels so much different than the other runs. The Hunt brothers back in the 1980s was a derivative of people trying to push silver up and corner a market. In 2011, we had another thing where so many contracts were written on silver that they were so far behind they had to get their butts covered. And people figured it out, and so it drove the price up in a relatively short order in a fast way.
And then the price came back down in a short order in a fast way.
Yes. This one we're starting to see central banks buying up material, and I think our next real push is that we're going to have a currency war.
Yeah.
We're talking about BRICS happening, where you've got Russia and China and India and Venezuela coming together to create their own currency to compete with the euro, and the euro's out there. And if we're not pricing things in dollars, the dollar will cease to be the most stable currency in the world. And so people are looking at it, hey, do I really want to own treasury bills? Which China owned millions and millions of treasury bills, or billions in treasury bills.
Yep.
So, by them buying gold rather than treasury bills, it's going to weaken our currency, and not to the point of it's going to fall away.
Right.
but it's just not going to be the preferred currency. And so,
and even that change will have reverberations throughout the world.
Big
Right.
ones. Yes.
Exactly.
Very large.
so eventually there's probably going to be a push to some kind of a one world currency or something like that. But in today's age of digital currencies and things like that, you don't have to physically carry stuff with you anymore to exchange.
Yeah.
Not like 100 years ago.
No.
It's not like you had a saddlebag full of silver coins that you
And
had
gold
to go.
dust.
Yeah, or gold dust. You had to get over
Here's
to
the
the
pitch.
assay office to get your reward for your hard work. That's a whole different can of worms than what we're used to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Alan, thank you so much. I really
course.
appreciate you, and I always enjoy hearing you talk about what you're passionate about. And yeah, I
So
just
if
appreciate it.
you want to know about Carson City, anything, Northern Nevada Coin, northernnevadacoin.com.
Yep.
Alan, thank you so much for coming on. We
Thank
really
you guys
appreciate
for having
you.
me, and yeah, look forward to
Please
it again.
come back.
All right, and for you guys tomorrow, we have a lot more interviews. It's the last one for today.
Yep.
You guys, we will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early. Thank you.